to the Kop Table podcast, where tonight we are previewing the Liverpool versus Chelsea game this coming Sunday at Anfield. Joining me tonight once again is Jay Riley. You can catch Jay on the Radio City Fan Friday talk show. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to get hold of anyone to represent Chelsea tonight, so myself and Jay will cover all things Chelsea related as well throughout the podcast. So starting off, Jay, we're going to look back at the last Premier League fixture, which was Southampton away. Went down early on in the game, didn't we? And then come back just before half time. And then second half, we ended up with the 3 points. But just give us your thoughts on the performance in that fixture, please, Jay.
I thought we started off really slow in the first half, mainly the first 20 minutes. Southampton come out the traps quite quick, didn't he? And that's what their new manager's all about, as we spoke on the last podcast about it. Since he's gone into the job there, he's transformed them a little bit, really. And you know, they've done quite well. He had a few wins under him, haven't they? And they've played a different style of football, and very similar to the way Klopp done things when he first came to Liverpool. Just changed things around a little bit, and you know, got everyone playing for each other and pressing all over the park. And that's what I thought he'd done to us. And we made a couple of mistakes, a couple of errors, and he took the lead early on, didn't he, with Shane Long, who hardly ever scores goals, and he scored against us, and he could have had a second one as well, to tell you the truth. And Liverpool was struggling, really, I thought, for 20 minutes, and quite fortunate to not be 2 goals down. And fortunately, we weren't, and, you know, we got back into the game. And, you know, it was nice to see Keita get on the score sheet, because he hasn't had a great start to his Liverpool career, as he's really struggled to settle. And, you know, hopefully it'll do his confidence the world of good. And then he went and scored in midweek in the Champions League as well. So, you know, not bad 2-2, but, you know, it was nice for him to get the equalising goal. You could see the relief, you know, like it's obviously been very difficult for him settling in at the club. And, you know, it's a bit of a monkey off his back, isn't it, to score that goal. And, you know, I think the players, the rest of his teammates were all delighted for him, as we were fans as well. And, you know, it was great to be level before half time. And then in the second half, Liverpool come out really quick. I mean, Klopp obviously had words with them at half time, because it wasn't good enough, the first half performance, in my opinion, especially, you know, if we're going for the title in a game that we needed to win. And, you know, Liverpool were on top. We were dominant, really, in the second half. And it didn't really look like at times that we were going to score, really, did it? Until, you know, obviously the changes were made, and Milner and Henderson came on, and I thought they both done really well. And, you know, they're experienced players, aren't they? And it certainly showed in that second half when they came on. And I thought Liverpool should have had a penalty, though. I mean, it was definitely a foul on Keita for me. The referee was just very dismissive of it, and straight away he said it wasn't a penalty, but, you know, it was a blatant penalty. The lad's gone in for the challenge, and he's caught him, and he's gone down. And, you know, maybe some would say it was a little bit theatrical, but it was 100% penalty for me. And, you know, that could have come back to haunt us, but thankfully it never. And like I say, Liverpool's performance second half fully deserved the 3 points, a massive victory. And, you know, we had to wait until 10 minutes to go for the second goal to get our noses in front, though. And fantastic counter-attacking goal, really, wasn't it? Henderson set it up, really. And it was, well, Sadio Mane charged the ball down in Henderson's header into the path of Mo Salah. And, you know, it was just his blistering pace, and everyone shouting at him to pass it to Firmino on his left-hand side, but he decided to go alone, and it was a fantastic goal, wasn't it? And, you know, he's waited a long time to get his 50th league goal for Liverpool, and thankfully he's got it now in 69 games. It's an incredible achievement, really, isn't it? But it was a great goal to put Liverpool 2-1 up, and soon after that, a little bit of magic from Bobby Firmino, later on a play for Henderson. It was brilliant, I thought, when he came on as a substitute in a more advanced role. And, you know, he just slotted it home. And you could, again, you know, his first goal of the season, and the relief from Henderson as well, similar to Naby Keita. You know, he's had coming for a lot of criticism this season. Some saying that he doesn't want him to start and berth in the Liverpool team, even though he is the captain. He's been in and out the side, to be honest with you. And, you know, he's been you know, championing really to get into the starting 11. And, you know, he had a point to prove, and that's what I think he feels. He has got a point to prove, and he wants to play further forward, and that's exactly what happened. And he got his reward, and, you know, he finished it off in 3-1. And lovely 3 points and went top of the table. So, it was a massive 3 points because it was a potential banana skin, really, wasn't it? A Friday night game under the lights at St Mary's against a resurgent Southampton team with a new manager. So, it was a massive victory. It felt like a massive result, coming from behind, and the manner that we won the game, made the statement really that we're certainly in this battle now right till the end, and there's only 5 games to go, and the pressure is now back onto Manchester City, who play before us on Sunday before our massive game against Chelsea. But it was just a relief to get the 3 points, but it was a massive 3 points.
Yeah, it most certainly was, and all the Liverpool fans watching the game, obviously, and the ones in the crowd, everyone was just ecstatic, wasn't he, with them 3 points and the way we came from behind to win the game. But just one thing you mentioned there, Jay, was the performance of Henderson when he came on, also Milner. But I'd just like to ask you about the Jordan Henderson situation, where now against Porto as well, he played in another different role to what he has been previously, in the number 6 role, if you like what it's being called. And now Klopp's moved him into like sort of a more of an attacking midfield player where he can get box to box and stuff like that. So what do you think of the tactical change in his game, and how it can affect us going forward over the next 5 games and Champions League games, please, Jay?
Well, I think if you look back to when Henderson first joined the club 7 or 8 years ago, he was actually a right midfield player at times. He played right midfield quite a lot. I mean, and he moved into centre mid. He played there a little bit. He did play more advanced roles in the central midfield area. It's only been more of a more recent thing where he's played as a 6, if you like. But Liverpool have got Fabinho to do that role now, and to me, he's a lot better than Henderson at doing that role. So it's no surprise, really, that he's been tried again in a more advanced role. Now, whether or not he's good enough to do it, like consistently week in, week out and be a regular, I'm not so sure. I mean, his output's not been fantastic, has it, in terms of assists and goals, and you need to chip in a little bit more if you're going to play the advanced role. But, you can't complain too much because he came on against Southampton and he did end up scoring a goal, didn't he, his first of the season. So it is food for thought going forward, and it is a potential there for, a permanent shift. But will he always get his game still? And to me, I'd still have any doubts, do you know what I mean? But, it did seem to benefit the side at Southampton, and he done really well in the Champions League game, I thought, as well, against Porto. I think it's getting to the stage of the season now where a lot of these players, they can almost smell it, they can taste the fact that we're going for 2 trophies and we're massively in the hunt for it. I think it was Virgil van Dijk who said we're 9 games from glory or something like that, and he's dead right, because we've got 5 Premier League games to go. We've got another Champions League game guaranteed minimum against Porto, and then you'd like to think we've got another 2 or 3, semi-final probably against Barcelona, and then hopefully, who knows, if we get past them, we'll be in the final in Madrid. So it's one of them situations now where every single player, they get into that stage where they can almost touch it, the success. So everyone wants to play now. They're all raring to go, aren't they? And you could see it. Like, Henderson seemed very aggressive when he came on against Southampton. Again, the other night against Porto, very aggressive. And I mean aggressive in a good way, by the way. Not like anything to do with aggressive in terms of, with ill discipline and, going into challenges that he shouldn't be. I'm just talking about energy levels, really up for it, like a bit of fire in the belly. And that's what Liverpool needs, as well as, the quality that we possess as well in terms of creativity and scoring goals and creating chances and what have you. So it is good to see. And, at the end of the day, he's the club captain and he doesn't start all the time, does he? So we will always feel he's got a point to prove, because, in my opinion, if you're a captain of the football club, you should be playing. You should be either the best player in the team or the most influential player in the team. But unfortunately for Jordan Henderson, he's neither. So it is a bit of a strange situation that we've got, because, Klopp stayed really loyal to him. Jordan Henderson got the Liverpool captaincy by default, really, because he was one of the longest serving players there. And he was part of the team when Carragher came to the end and Steven Gerrard came to the end. So by default, really, not because he was the best player, he got the captain's armband, and basically Jurgen Klopp came in, and because Henderson is such a fantastic professional, he's brilliant, like off the pitch and in the dressing room, and he's great. But on the pitch, he's just okay. I mean, he's a good player, don't get me wrong, but he's not a star quality player. He's not influential. He's not the best player. So this is my point. It's a strange one because Jurgen Klopp stayed loyal to him, hasn't he? He's never ever once stripped him of the captaincy, even though he doesn't play every single game. Realistically, most people, if they had the choice, would say Virgil van Dijk should be Liverpool captain now because he's absolutely sensational. He's a leader of men, isn't he? He's one of our best players. If not, well, he's a very influential player anyway. So he fits the bill and to be the captain. He is the captain in my eyes, but because he plays every single game, he's the most important name on the team sheet. But with Henderson, it's a little bit different, and Klopp has just stayed loyal to him, and I just think it's because he recognises like what a great professional that he is, and he's great for the club in general. But he needs to start doing it on the pitch a lot more with a lot more consistency, shall we say? I mean, don't get me wrong, he will have some great performances. I remember back to the last round of the Champions League against Bayern Munich at Anfield. I know, albeit the game was 0-0, I thought he was tremendous on the night. So, we know he's got it in his locker. He just needs to find that consistency, really. And, he does, with the fans, they sort of he divides opinion because some fans do think he's very good. But then you'll get the other fans who don't think he's good enough and shouldn't be a starter and shouldn't even be at the club. And it's a strange situation, really. I mean, I'm sort of on the fence with it because I don't think he's fantastic. I don't think he should be the captain. But then I don't think he's as bad as what some make him out to be because he has put in some very good performances. What I will say about him, my own personal opinion on it is, I just think that he needs to find that little bit of consistency. And people might argue, well, if he's in and out the side all the time, how's he meant to find the consistency? Well, it's by performing brilliantly as he did the other night against Porto. Do it week in, week out, you know what I mean? And if you do, then make it hard for the manager to change it and make it hard for the manager to keep it out the team because he has put in quite a few poor performances as well this season. And even the super fans out there who love Henderson and won't have a bad word said against him, even surely they can recognise that at times he's not doing it or he doesn't look good enough. And he does suffer with injuries as well, so that doesn't help either. That interrupts his flow of games, doesn't it? So, he's a bit of a frustrating player, not quite as frustrating as the likes of your Lallanas and your Sturridges, but, he does miss games through injury quite a bit as well. He went off injured against Bayern Munich in the away game, in the Allianz, didn't he? He missed the game against Fulham recently as well, but then played for England. So, he's a frustrating type of player, but, no one can ever question his professionalism and his commitment to the football club because it's absolutely spot on. It's exemplary, really. And, he wants his opportunity. And as I say, come May, even June, he could be lifting that Premier League title aloft and he could also be lifting the European Cup. So, here's hoping.
Yeah, and just going back to that game against Porto in midweek, Jay, when we come away with a 2-0 victory, what was your thoughts on the team performance, and is that enough for us going into the second leg over in Portugal next week?
I thought the Porto game, we started really quickly, and in the first half, I mean, they couldn't have complained if Liverpool we beat them 5-0, didn't we, last season in the last 16 of the Champions League. I think they couldn't have complained if Liverpool were 5-0 up at half time, in this quarter-final match the other night at Anfield, because Liverpool were dominant and their left sides just took a battering. Mo Salah was free all the time. Trent Alexander-Arnold was free all the time. Jordan Henderson even had a little go over there, a little spell where he was getting a lot of joy on that side, and we just carved them apart so many times. And it was actually a little bit disappointing to only go in at half time 2-0. And then second half, I mean, they couldn't have been as bad as what they were defensively in the first half. In the second half, there's no way. But Liverpool nearly scored again. Mane's goal was given offside in the ground. I thought it was onside. He'd done a VAR check, and obviously he was offside. But I in the ground, I was convinced he was on. But as I say, it wasn't, and the goal didn't stand. And I thought Porto sort of that gave them a boost, a little bit of a lift, really. And we'd done quite well, I thought, Porto. They'd certainly had a go second half, and they were unfortunate not to get an away goal. And I'm quite relieved that they never scored an away goal because it could have made it a little bit more tricky over there in Portugal next week. And I'm expecting a completely different game to the way it was last year when we won there 5-0. It was a bit of a freak, really. That I do think they're a lot better than that, and they showed it. I thought in the second half at Anfield, they've certainly got good players who can hurt us, and if they can get an early goal next week, who knows what could happen. But because they never got the away goal, I just think Liverpool sort of like, you could tell in the second half they had one eye on the Chelsea game on Sunday. I think we were in cruise control, really, and maybe they will have a little go at us in the drag out next week. But what you've got to realise is, if Liverpool are the worst team in football to have a go at, because we'll just crucify you on the counter attack. So basically, if Liverpool score one goal, they need to score four, and they ain't scoring 4 goals against this Liverpool team. So all we need is to get an away goal, and it's tie over, and into the semi-finals we go, probably against Barcelona. But I don't think that they're no mugs, Porto, though. I think they certainly have players that could cause us a few problems next week. So as early as we can to get that away goal, the crucial away goal, and that's what we want, isn't it? Because the last thing we need is it to be 1-0 with like 70 minutes to go. There's 70 minutes gone, sorry, and then all of a sudden they bombard us a little bit, and if they get a second goal, the last thing we need is extra time or anything like that. We want to get that away goal as quickly as we can, because that means they need 4, and it's effectively tie over. So, I don't think it's done yet. It would have been nice to have won the game 3-0 at Anfield the other night, and a third would have really put the tie to bed for me. But it's still in the melting pot a little bit, but massive advantage for Liverpool, really. And you'd like to think Liverpool would score an away goal over there in Portugal, and it should be a semi-final against Barcelona, really, shouldn't it? Because I thought, Barcelona and Man United the other night, it was an awful game, really. And, I thought Man United are a very poor side, I think, to be honest with you. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's tactically inept. He's out of his depth, to be honest. So we got very fortunate, I thought, getting through against Paris Saint-Germain. 2 defensive errors for the first 2 goals, and then the VAR decision, very dodgy decision, given the penalty. So, it's let's be honest, we all thought Barcelona were going to beat them anyway, really, didn't we? And there was signs, though, that they reminded me a little bit like Bayern Munich. Still got good quality footballers, but aging a little bit. Like a team in decline, really. And I think if Liverpool do play them in the semi-final, I certainly think there was food for thought there to think Liverpool could beat them over 2 legs. I mean, sure, they've got goals in there with Messi and Suarez and good players like your Coutinho's and your Rakitic and your Arta, but I'm looking at that thinking defensively they're a little bit of a shambles, to be honest, and be very disappointed that Liverpool couldn't score a few against that Barcelona back line. So, to me, I think I would feel confident playing them over 2 legs, and hopefully we'd be able to get to another European Cup final.
Yeah, most definitely, Jay. Fingers crossed about that one. Just like to ask you this one, Jay. It's more of an observation, really, that's been sent in to us on the Twitter page. It's off a guy called Ashindra. He says, if Liverpool are to win Sunday, Salah needs to start passing the ball more often instead of trying to dribble past 3 players. He seems to think Klopp needs to manage him better, and says golden boots does not matter when you're trying to win the league. What's your thoughts on them comments, Jay? And obviously, I agree with the golden boot part, but not necessarily. I don't think he's trying to dribble past a great deal of players, and he is showing a bit of unselfishness throughout the main part of the season for me. But what's your thoughts on them comments, please, Jay?
I don't know. I mean, there is, at times, I have felt like he has seemed a bit greedy, and sometimes he does try and beat too many players, and he does try to do too much. But, look, we can't complain too much, can we? I mean, last season he was sensational. What was it he scored? Was it 44 goals or something last year? And he won the Golden Boot. And this year he's one off winning the Golden Boot again, isn't he? And, he unselfishly gave a penalty away to Roberto Firmino against Arsenal, didn't he, at December time? And maybe that'll come back to haunt him, because he might end up, losing the Golden Boot by 1 goal. I don't know. But, he has got quite a lot of assists this season as well. That's another little string to the bow that he's added. He hasn't scored as many goals, but he's got a few assists, probably. I'm not sure whether it's more than last season, but he's still maintained that anyway, where he's got the assist this season too. So, we can't complain, can we? He can do, at times, he can do a little bit too much. I think that myself, he can look a bit greedy at times, but I think it's easy to scrutinise when I think he scored, 1 in 12 games now, or 2 in 12 games, something like that, which for Mo Salah, it's absolutely incredible, really, compared to what his stats were last season. No one would have envisaged him going on this sort of run where he just hardly scored any goals, but he still contributed in other areas. And what I've noticed with him is teams are terrified of him, so he sort of takes two defenders away, and that does allow the space then for your Manes and for your other players like your Firmino as well to maybe score goals. And Mane's very quick. He's even quicker than Salah, so it's no coincidence that he's scored quite a lot of goals this season. He scored over 20 goals as well now, hasn't he? And a lot of it is down to Salah being. I'm saying there he can be greedy at times when he keeps the ball, but he's also unselfish at times as well because he's having to deal with quite a couple of defenders around him because they're terrified of him. Do you know what I mean? Teams sit a little bit deeper as well at times because Liverpool have got clever footballers, and he's certainly one of them players that's a massive threat to the opposition. So if he drags two fellas across, then obviously it leaves spaces then to be exploited for the likes of your Firminos and your Manes, and they've reaped the benefits of it recently. Certainly Sadio Mane as well, because he scored 10 in 10, didn't he, recently? So, we're getting to the crucial end of the season now, and it would be nice if Salah could go on a goal scoring run, though, a bit like he did last season. But like I say, I get the point, though. I do get the point, but I just think that, you've got to look at the bigger picture sometimes, and yeah, maybe his goal return hasn't been as good this season, but I do think that, he's still been a vital part, a vital cog in the wheel, if you like, in how the team's done this season. I think this season it's been a little bit different in terms of being a lot more methodical defensively and more controlled with the way we've played, because we've got a better goalkeeper. Van Dijk's had a little bit longer now. He's had a full season under his belt at Liverpool. And we've also got Fabinho that came into the side in around about December time, where he started it in the ground. He struggled at first initially, and I remember one game away from home against Arsenal, he looked like a fish out of water, and then all of a sudden, in the December time, and he was great, and he hasn't looked back since. He's been fantastic, really, and Liverpool's spine now is a lot better than ever before. So, I just think he's nurtured his game a little bit more. I mean, don't forget, earlier on in the season, Klopp tended to play a 4-2-3-1 system as well, and it didn't really suit Firmino, did it? Because he had to drop deep and play more as a number 10, if you like, and Salah played up front, and I just don't think it suited him. I mean, I know he still scored a few goals, but, he's better playing out wide for me. And yeah, I take on board what the lad's saying, but, listen, Mo Salah's still a very, very important to the way things work with Liverpool, the way we tick. And he to me, he's still the biggest threat. And that is down to the fact that, the opposition's terrified of him. Because they're terrified of him, sometimes you'll find there's two men on him quite a lot, to be honest with you. And he can be greedy at times, I do get that. But, there's other areas that you have to look at because he's freeing up space for others.
Excellent stuff. Cheers, Jay. Right, okay, looking forward to the game at the weekend against Chelsea. Obviously, they've got a game tonight as we're recording away in against Slavia Prague. So they also played Monday night, which means they'll have by the time they play us, it's the third game in 6 days, is it? After playing Monday evening. So how much of an effect do you think that'll have on Chelsea? And you just see, obviously, Hazard, but apart from him, who else is going to be looking to cause us problems from that Chelsea side, please, Jay?
Well, look, I mean, there's no excuses on Sunday. The only thing I say is Chelsea are a little bit of a bogey team to Liverpool. I don't think we've beaten them at Anfield since, is it 2012? So it's 7 years. It's a long time. There has been a lot of draws involved in them games, though. But I think it's also about 5 or 6 games since we last beat them in any game, including Stamford Bridge. So they are a little bit of a bogey team to us. And, it's not going to be easy on Sunday against them at all, because don't forget, 5 years ago, they were the team that ultimately cost us the title when Gerrard slipped and Zemba Bar scored, and in the second half he done everything but score, and the hitters on the break and made it 2-0, wrapped it up, and it was league over from that moment on in, to be honest, because some people will say about the Palace game, but the facts are, even if we'd have beat Crystal Palace, we'd have still lost the league on goal difference. So it was the Chelsea game that done us, and now we have a chance to really rectify that 5 years on, because this game on Sunday is absolutely huge. Make no mistake, this is the biggest game of the season. Everyone goes on about stuff, games that have gone previous and what have you, but this is the big one now. Like, people will say your next game's always the biggest one, but this is the one where you think, if we win this one, then there's no reason why we shouldn't win the last four. They're all massive games on paper, yeah. Win games that you'd expect Liverpool to win. And I know you can't just assume you're going to win them, but if we're going for a league title, the likes of Cardiff away, Huddersfield at home, Newcastle away, and Wolves at home, you've got to be looking at 12 points. So this is our toughest game that we've got left. And Chelsea are coming to town, they're coming to Anfield, and they are a bit of a bogey team, and they're a team that we all love to hate, and they hate us as well. Make no mistake, we've got a massive modern day rivalry with them. Goes back to when it was Rafa Benitez against Mourinho, or the Champions League nights that we had with them. There's massive rivalry there between us and them, and they'd love nothing more to put a spanner in the works of Liverpool going for the title once more. And there's no excuses though from my point of view, because Liverpool played Friday night, and then we played on Tuesday night. You've got to look at Chelsea played on Monday against West Ham in a derby game. And then also they're playing, like, obviously Thursday in the Europa League away from home in Prague. So, like, Liverpool have had adequate rest time. Liverpool have got more preparation than them. It's at Anfield. There's no travelling involved. There's no excuses. We've got to win the game. But that said, as I said before, they're a bit of a bogey team, and looking at the team that they've put out in the Champions League, in the Europa League game, they've made quite a lot of changes, really. I mean, Higuain's on the bench, Hazard's on the bench, Kante's on the bench. Hudson-Odoi's not even travelled, I don't think, because he's not even in the squad. David Luiz is on the bench, so you would expect all 5 or 6 of them to start the game at Anfield on Sunday. So even though I'm saying Liverpool should be fresher because we've had more preparation time, they've still got half a team there that are likely to play the game against Liverpool at Anfield. So it's going to be tough. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Chelsea have had a little bit of an up and down season. They started really well and they were in contention at the start. It was a 3-horse race at the start of the season. They were right up there. Then he had a little bit of a dip, didn't he? And then he got smashed against Man City as well in the league game. And everyone just thought that, that's it. They're not even going to get top 4. That's how much they thought. The fall from grace was massive this season for them. And there was all infighting there. And there's the trouble with the goalkeeper, wasn't he, Kepa, in the final with Sarri. And people were saying he'd lost the dressing room and what have you. But, they've seemed to pick up a little bit of form recently. He lost against Everton at Goodison, and I think since then they've gone on a little bit of a running streak, and they're doing all right. They're back up to 3rd in the league, and it's all to play for them Champions League spots, and obviously going to try and win the Europa League as well. But like I say, this is a massive game on Sunday, and they've just hit a little bit of form at the right time. The wrong time for us, but the right time for themselves. And look, they've got dangerous players, no matter what you want to say about them. Higuain may not be what he once was, but the fact is he's a goal scorer. So if he gets a chance on Sunday at Anfield, you're going to put your life on it that he's going to score. Eden Hazard always seems to turn up in these games against Liverpool. He's always like, he's had a very good season, to be fair to the lad, and his fantastic goal he scored the other night against West Ham. And he looks like he's been rested for the Europa League game. So, he's going to be quite fresh at Anfield, and he always tends to do well against Liverpool. So that's a slight concern. Hudson-Odoi is a little bit of an unknown quantity. He's very raw, isn't he? But he's got ability. We all know with the tricks that he's got, and he's made his England debut now. So, he's going to be confident, the young boy. But then it doesn't just stop there. Pedro's dangerous on his day. We all know about Willian. He scored a goal last season against us as well. I still think it was a cross myself, but Mignolet was poor for it, but he equalised for them last season at Anfield. So, they've got players that can hurt you. There's no doubt about it. And we all know how good Kante is. he gets around the pitch so well. He's brilliant, isn't he? Energy levels. So, we're going to have a job on our hands. There's no two ways about it. I don't think they're great defensively, though. I do think they can be got at. I'm not sure they'll be able to contain us at Anfield if Liverpool are on form and flying at them. I'm not sure, but, it's certainly going to be a tough game. But it's a game that, as I said before, there's no excuses whatsoever. Liverpool have had adequate time preparation for this game, and they haven't had ideal preparation at all, really. Basically, it's going to be 3 games, isn't it? In what, 6 days? That's really difficult. That's really difficult. 3 games, 6 days. I know they've rotated a little bit, but Liverpool have got to be winning this game on Sunday, and I think we will do.
Yeah, and just one point you made about Eden Hazard there, always turns up, if you like, in the games against Liverpool. He's publicly, openly admitted it, hasn't he, that it's his favourite away ground. He loves playing against Liverpool. He loves the Anfield Stadium. So obviously that gives him a boost, just playing for Chelsea at Liverpool before the game even kicks off. But like you say, yeah, Chelsea have got a lot of dangerous players, not just Hazard, who's in their squad. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game on Sunday, and looking forward to it though, and we'll get our score predictions shortly. But just before we do that, Jay, our thoughts on the starting lineup. Obviously, with the Southampton game, Wijnaldum played in the midfield, didn't he, with Keita and Fabinho, with Henderson and Milner on the bench. And then Porto on Tuesday, Keita remained in the starting 11. Gini dropped to the bench. Henderson played. Fabinho kept his place. So it's always the midfield areas, isn't it, where Klopp's got a dilemma in who to pick. So just your thoughts, put yourself in Jurgen's shoes. Who do you go with in that midfield for the game against Chelsea, please, Jay?
Well, I'm quite happy that he seems to have settled back for the 4-3-3 system, because he did sort of tamper with it a little bit at times this season with a 4-2-3-1, and it did suit some players. It did suit other players. It didn't suit, and I just think it was better going back to the tried and trusted method of 4-3-3, because that's how we got to a Champions League final last season, scoring goals for fun. And I just think this could be the system that wins us the league title this season. And, I think Fabinho has got to start, because, he's the man that sits there in front of basically the back four, takes it off the centre halves. He's in the right place, right times. Positional sense is fantastic. Loves to break play up. Always forward thinking with his passing. Keeps it going. Bit of a tempo setter. Very good player. He's got to start. I just think with what you're saying there, the lineup against Southampton and the lineup against Porto, I just think, all things considered, and I know it's quite harsh on the lads because he's just scored 2 and 2, but I'd be very surprised if Keita started this game, because I think when you analyse the bigger picture, Wijnaldum's been very good in midfield this season, and he's just sort of started to dip a little bit his form. He looked very tired against Tottenham. He looked tired against Southampton. He's given him his rest. He had his rest against Porto. Now I simply can't see him missing this game. I think he'll be brought back into the side for Naby Keita. I really do. And I think Henderson will start the game as well. So it'll be, for me, I think it's going to be Wijnaldum and Henderson as the more advanced midfield players, with Fabinho sitting just behind them. The front three it picks itself, doesn't it? Salah one side, Mane the other, Firmino up top. And then, of course, the defence. Andy Robertson had a much deserved rest. I know he was suspended for the game against Porto, but he's had his little break now, and that'll do him now until the end of the season. He'll come back in at left back. James Milner had, tireless night, didn't he, up and down that left side. So I can see him sitting it out, being on the bench. Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back, and the centre half pairing now, because Lovren came into the side, didn't he, against Porto?
Yeah, that's another one.
I do think Matip will get his place back, because it's been him and Van Dijk, hasn't it, been at the heart of the defence, for such a long time now, since Gomez and Lovren have been out injured. So I think Joel Matip will come back into the side to partner Van Dijk, and obviously Alisson between the sticks, and I think that'll be the team 4-3-3.
Yeah, I'd totally agree with what you're saying there. Yeah, that'd also be my expected lineup. With obviously you said Wijnaldum sitting the game out against Southampton, and Keita playing the 2 games on the bounce. Although he has done well, I'd say 2, possibly 7, 8 out of 10 performances. I still probably don't think it merits a place to start against Chelsea. In what could go a long way towards us winning a title. So I just think you're right in what you're saying, and Naby Keita will probably sit this one out alongside Milner on the bench. With
I think though when you look at Keita the other night though against Porto, I mean, fantastic for the lads. You know, he scored the first goal, a very important goal. But there was occasions where he got dispossessed in dangerous areas. One time trying a silly flick, put us under pressure, and another time where he was really weak in the challenge. And that's not me having a go at the lad, but he needs to strengthen up a little bit, and he needs to cut out them little flicks here and there. Don't get me wrong, I love it when he drops the shoulder and that little burst of energy and he goes past men. He done it basically in the last minute, didn't he, against Porto? But there was a couple of occasions where he could have cost us, and and obviously Klopp's not stupid. He knows that as well. He knows that he's not the finished article yet. So a massive game like it is against Chelsea, I don't think he'll take that risk, because it's quite clear to see, we've said on podcasts in the past regarding Shaqiri and Keita, I don't think Klopp 100% trusts them yet tactically. And that, for me, is the reason why I cannot see him starting against Chelsea on Sunday. And bearing in mind them couple of incidents against Porto, because all I seen on Twitter was like a loving about it because he scored a goal and it's his second, he got 2 in 2 now. But let's get real about it and analyse the bigger picture. He could have cost us in that game as well. And I know he never, but my point is he put us under pressure on 2 occasions in that second half. So Klopp will know that. And you know as well as I do the way Klopp is. He's a disciplinarian for tactics and getting them spot on. And that, for me, is partly the reason why Shaqiri hardly gets a sniff at the moment. He doesn't get a look in because he doesn't trust them tactically. And I just think with Keita, he's good in certain areas, but there was 2 occasions where he could have put us under massive pressure. Well, he did put us under pressure, and thankfully we got away with it. I don't think Klopp would take that risk on Sunday, and that's the reason why I think Gini Wijnaldum will come back into the starting lineup alongside Henderson and Fabinho.
Yeah, and what looks like it's going to be a very strong bench as well on Sunday, taking into consideration that Joe Gomez is now back, isn't he? And Lovren may drop to the bench, and you've got Sturridge, Origi, Milner, Keita, possibly Lallana returning. So yeah, now the strength in depth is back after these injury setbacks, isn't it? Apart from, like we said, Chamberlain and Brewster, who's not really featured in the first team squad yet anyway. Just coming up to the end of the season now, it looks like even there's going to be players vying for the place on the bench. Right then, Jay, before we introduce the music of the band that's been in touch with us this week, we're going to get our score predictions in. So you can go first and give us your thoughts on your score prediction and your reasons for that, please, Jay.
Okay, well, I mean, I did say, didn't I, at this moment in time now, it doesn't really matter about the performance levels. It's all about getting the 3 points. I mean, people will look at the goal difference. And yeah, okay, we've got Cardiff and Huddersfield coming up. So, you know, Liverpool could put 3 or 4 past Cardiff. They could put 3 or 4 past Huddersfield as well. So, you know, that goal difference could really come. You know, we could level off at the goal difference, really, to tell you the truth, because we've got a couple of games there where we could get a half full of goals. But on the other hand, I have said, haven't I, it's not necessarily about that no more. It's all about getting the 3 points. It's as simple as that for me. And, you know, I just think on Sunday, it could very well be a cagey game because, as I touched on before, they are a little bit of a bogey team and there's a massive rivalry between us. So I just think it's all about getting the 3 points. I mean, look at the game against Spurs. It was a game of 2 halves, wasn't it? In the first half, Liverpool were in control. Should really have been 2-0 up, I would say, by half time. Second half, you know, Tottenham took over really, and it's very disappointing really because we'd spoken about it, hadn't we? About Dembele ran the show the season before, and it won't happen again because he'd moved on to pastures new. But that's exactly what happened, and you know, it took an injury time own goal for Liverpool. Well, a last minute, 90th minute own goal for Liverpool to win the game, and it's just all about the 3 points, and that's sort of like applies for Sunday against Chelsea, because it's a massive game. They're the third best team, aren't they, at this moment in time in the league? So, it's absolutely huge to get these 3 points, and forget like City, when City beat them 6-0. That was just a freak. Do you know what I mean? I know they lost. Was it 4-0 to Bournemouth as well, not so long ago, or like maybe January time, something like that. They've come away from that though now. They've hit a little bit of a better form, haven't they? And people will say, well, Everton beat them 2-0 not so long ago. They did. But if anyone watched that game in the first half, Chelsea should have been 2 or 3-0 up by half time. And in the second half, they just, I don't know what happened to them. Everton come out the traps quick and obviously caught them cold and ended up winning the game. And it was a great result for Everton, no doubt about it. But I don't think you can read too much into them performances and them games, really, because this is going to be a bit different, because they're fighting for the top four now, and we're running out of games. We're running out of games for the title. They're running out of games for the top four. So it's vitally important for both sides. And what I will say, if Liverpool start quick and hopefully get an early goal, then that'll settle us, and we should go on and win the game comfortably. But I just get the impression it's going to be really tight, really cagey. They have got very good players. There's no two ways about it. And, midfield's going to be key as ever. I mean, Kante is obviously a very good player. They've got Jorginho, who just passes the ball to death, doesn't he? It's interesting to see who plays with them. But if they do start Hudson-Odoi, and obviously Hazard's going to start, and Higuain's probably going to start as well, they've got massive goal threats there as well, haven't they? And a bit of pace and power as well. So, certainly with Hudson-Odoi's pace, and Hazard's fantastic, isn't he? So, it's going to be a really tough game. It really is. But I just think this means so much to Liverpool. And, you've got to take the emotion out of it. And the players have got a job to do. And I do think they understand the importance of this game. And that's what I'm thinking the game against Porto in midweek. I think the second half, you certainly had one eye on this game on Sunday, because it's just absolutely huge. It's a massive game. I don't think people can sort of... You can't really put... words can't describe how important it is. It's an absolutely huge game of football. There's no two ways about it, and it's the toughest game we've got left. And if we win this, then the belief's got to be there that we'll do it. And I know it's out of our hands, and I know City, if they win every game and so do we, then we won't win the league, and it'll be devastating if that happens. But this is the toughest game we've got, and if Liverpool can get the 3 points, we've just got to have that belief that we're going to win the title. And to me, this is our chance now to rectify what happened 5 years ago, and I think we will do. But I think it's going to be really tight, and it'll be a narrow win. So I'm just going to go for a 1-0 Liverpool win. And it doesn't matter who gets the goal. It'll be fantastic if it's Salah. We used to play for Chelsea and they got rid of him. But it doesn't really matter who gets it. As long as Liverpool get the 3 points to win the game, that's all that truly matters. And I think the scoreline on Sunday will be Liverpool 1, Chelsea 0.
So a 1-0 scoreline prediction, for Jay there. My own thoughts on a scoreline. I'll be honest with you, after the previous two games, I've thought to myself, coming up to this Chelsea game, I've just been in the frame of mind of we're gonna tear Chelsea apart. We're gonna absolutely smash them off the park. But after speaking to Jay on this podcast and all his information about the Chelsea team and things like that, I'm just gonna rein it in a little bit, because obviously a very good side coming, can't take anything for granted. I just think, but with the crowd behind us, gonna be absolutely electric, especially if we know that, fingers crossed, City have slipped up beforehand and dropped points against Crystal Palace, which will make it even more important then. So my thoughts are that Liverpool are gonna go out there and annihilate Chelsea in this game, but I'm just going to reel it in a little bit, and I'm going to go with a 2-0 scoreline for Liverpool, a goal in each half. I think very strong defensively now with Virgil and Alisson in that back five, if you like. So very strong at the back. Midfield, we can get at their midfield without a doubt. Kante, good player, but not the biggest, not the strongest. So I think he can be bullied around the pitch by Henderson, Fabinho. Defensively, like Jay also said, Luiz and Rudiger, not the best two centre-backs in the Premier League for me. Both of them are there to be got at as well. So I just think Liverpool are going to get the 3 points. It's vitally important that we get the 3 points, and it'll be a 2-0 victory for Liverpool in this game. Fingers, toes, everything crossed, touching wood as well. So, before we go, Jay's going to introduce the band who's been in touch with us on Twitter this week. Liverpool band go by the name of Candy Opera. So, the song I'm going to play for you is called I Can See From My... Okay, so that's the Kop Table preview of the Liverpool versus Chelsea game. All done. Thanks very much for joining me tonight, Jay. Appreciate your time once again.
No problem, mate. Hopefully, it's a good day on Sunday and we can all look forward to that wonderful day in May and lifting that title. But like I say, one game at a time, and this is the one now. We've got to get 3 points Sunday and, all about getting one over on Chelsea after what they done to us 5 years ago. But the bigger picture is it go a long way then for Liverpool maybe securing the league title. So fingers crossed for Sunday.
Spot on, Jay. So yeah, once again, thanks to the at Liverpool Online Facebook, social media, Instagram pages for putting all our podcasts out on their social media platforms. And don't forget to stay updated with the No More Knives campaign with Paul Bentley. He's now selling T-shirts around the city with the No More Knives campaign logo on. So all his information is on Paul's Facebook and his Twitter page as well. So thanks very much everybody for listening, and we'll be back with our next preview podcast next week. Thanks very much. Goodbye.